Today's topic is about iPads. I don't know if you saw the video, but I actually got myself an iPad mini, and I previously came from an iPad Pro, and this is the 12.9-inch version. Comes with a protective cover. Well, it doesn't come with it. Like, I had to get a protective cover, and this is like the folio that also has the inbuilt a keyboard, so you can actually transform it into like a iPad, MacBook, kind of like mesh or something. And that was my original intent. So the topic of today's video is how an iPad is to be used for an entrepreneur. Now, here's what I hate about reviews online. The problem with reviews online is that you don't know who the other person is. And because you don't know who the other person is, it is so difficult to tell whether or not, whether they, their context or their background or their usage is going to be applicable to you. I remember not knowing this, also going into an iPad Pro, the large iPad Pro 12.9-inch version. I wanted something that could replace my computer. And my work tasks mainly revolved around, back then I did a little bit of graphics editing, a little bit of video editing, some documents, spreadsheets, Word documents, lots of chat applications like Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, and definitely heavy on the browser usage. That was my original intent, and I realized that it did not work out really well for me. The iPad Pro, the 12.9-inch version was terrible because it was a very poor MacBook replacement. If you want a MacBook, this is not it. Copy and paste functions were terrible. Multitasking functionality was terrible. On top of that, if you use the browser a lot and use it for a lot of your main productivity tools, you realize that a lot of websites, they're not very optimized for the mobile browser, which is what the iPad OS, the iPad essentially is still using. So I would, be fine for a couple of days or so, but just occasionally, sometimes there will be a website that will just mess things up. For instance, when I upload files, or when I want to upload files, the website's file dialog box wouldn't work or wouldn't allow me to select the files that I want. If you use like email, it's really hard to save a file and then find the right file and then make sure that you actually attach the right file. More often than not, I've attached the wrong file just because it's so hard to find the right file and you can't do previews on the iPad. So more often than not, I've attached the wrong file and it goes out and I had to my recipients had to follow up with me and get the right file in the end, which is a terrible experience. And on top of all that, it's not portable. The iPad OS is great, by the way. Really depends on the functionality that you want it to have. I've since streamlined it. Now that I'm using a Mac Mini right now, and now that I have a Mac Mini, it's great because I have a big ass monitor at home. This is my workstation, proper keyboard, proper mouse, and the Mac Mini is quick, it's snappy, and it gets everything done. I love the Mac OS. That's it. The iPad then becomes my tool mainly for a few things. One, illustration. I love drawing, and the iPad is a fantastic machine for that. With a pencil, the Apple Pencil, you can really draw. Procreate is my tool of choice, and because it's the most popular tool for illustrators and artists, I'm no expert, by the way. I'm just a hobbyist, and I like doodling and illustrating, and the iPad's fantastic for that. Note taking. I like taking notes by hand, and the iPad allows me to do that because it's so easy to take notes. I've tried many other devices. I've tried Windows devices, which is fairly okay, except bugs out after a while or slows down after a while really easily. And I've tried e-ink devices as well, but those were too slow. And while they were great on on the eyes because it's e-ink, and the battery life is fantastic, I really want something a little bit more snappy than that. I also do presentations on the iPad where I connect the iPad to my computer and use it as a drawing, as a whiteboard, as a as a place to illustrate my points. And that's something that the iPad is fantastic for. I simply have to connect it by a USB cable from the iPad to the computer that I have, and it works. It's awesome. I can share my screen through Zoom. I can, essentially that's what I do. I essentially share my screen through Zoom or through this software which I use. It's called OBS, which records my screen, and it's fantastic. So, knowing all the users that I have for my iPad, I realized that this is way too unwieldy. Like, I'm not going to carry this around, and it's too big. Even when traveling, this is almost like the size of a full-sized MacBook, and it's just way too big. It's hard to carry around. It's hard to use while you're on the move, and it just defeats the purpose of an iPad. Now, that's for me. If you are a iPad user that use the iPad for something else, such as if you do a lot of typing, if you do a lot of if you do programming, I don't know what else you do. If any of your use cases fall outside of the use cases that I have said, you're probably not going to love this. The iPad mini, although it's small and compact, is really only good for media consumption and basic note taking or illustration. Procreate still works really well on this, but it's very small. It's like literally half the size of a iPad Pro, right? If you look at it, it's like half the size. It's like a A4 piece of paper versus an A5 piece of paper, half the size. So that's not something that I would recommend. But again, for me, it's perfect. I carry it around for my use cases. I illustrate on it, I draw on it, I take notes on it, and it's great. One thing that you need to know though is Apple does not have any official accessories that allow you to connect an external keyboard to this. So this is just a regular folio. It folds though. This is not from Apple as well. So I just got this online. It's a simple folio that I like because it allows me to keep my pencil together with the iPad. That's it, right? And this is all that I need. If you need an external keyboard, Apple does not support it. You need to get one online, and I think Logitech has one, but it's way too bulky, and I realize I don't use this to type. Not in my use cases. So that's why I think the iPad mini is perfect for me. And you should go find something that really aligns with your needs. So if your functionality, your use case aligns with mine, I think you're gonna love the iPad mini. So that's my main gripe right now with online reviews and everything that you see online, that we don't really know where people are coming from. So hopefully I've given you an idea of the use cases that I use my iPad mini for, and why I like it so much, and why I prefer it over the larger iPad Pro 12.9 inch. And hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you find this to be useful, especially if you have similar use cases like I do. That is my review of the iPad mini as well as the iPad Pro 12.9 inch. Hopefully this helps, and if it does, please let me know in the comments what your best takeaway is, or if you have questions about this that I can answer, let me know in the questions as well so that I can reply to them. Otherwise, you know what to do. Please share this video to someone else, or most importantly, hit the subscribe button so you see more videos like this when I release them. Take care, and see you in the next video.